Greetings viewers and welcome to what I'm hoping will be another educational video for you. If you're here, you're interested in learning about electric fence traps, and that's exactly what I have here in front of me. So let's jump right into talking about them. What are they? How do we get them? And what do we do with them? So this individual post right here is an electric fence post. The way that you get them, you can purchase them from a merchant, can find them in the world as loot, and you can also craft them. So when we pull up the crafting menu here, here's our electric fence post. You have two options, much like the dart trap that I covered in my previous video. You need to go down the advanced engineering tree. So we're going to go here into intellect, all the way down to advanced engineering, and you have to get to the electrician status here before you can even start crafting these things on your own. Speccing into this also requires intellect level 6, which is the first one that requires you to have 2 points put into it. So you have to get a little bit into this tree before you can actually unlock crafting those on your own. Again, the other option is by finding the electric fence post schematic. This one can be a little tricky because it does kind of look like the switch schematic. So this is the electric fence post schematic here. You got your little stick with your box and the lightning coming off of it. And the switch is very similar. So if you're in a hurry or looting, you see it, you're like, oh man, I've been needing that. You read it, you don't pay attention, you go to craft this and it's still locked. Chances are you probably found the switch schematic instead of the electric fence post. So what I didn't go over with the dart traps was what they require to craft. This one requires forged iron and electrical parts. This is the same thing as well to repair the item, because these things will get damaged as they are being used. So how do we use them? Well, once you place them in the world, you're going to need a set of 2 for them to actually do anything. If you just have one fence post that you looted or you purchased it and you're like, hey, I want to set this thing up, you can't do it unless you have at least a minimum of 2, and then you wire them together. So again, just like all the other electric traps in the game, you're going to need some sort of power source. Typically, when you're setting up your traps, if you are going to use more than one type of trap in your base, or you want to have some sort of individual manual control over them, I would recommend for electric fence traps not using any kind of sensor like a pressure plate, tripwire, motion sensor. I would just run them off of a switch or directly off of generator and then kind of separate it out, maybe using a relay. So we're going to go ahead and set up kind of like a little mock one real quick. So I'm going to use my wire tool to right click on my generator, and I'm going to go to my switch, go from my switch to my relay. Typically, the way I like to wire these things is individual. You can daisy chain them together, and I'll kind of explain why that's a bad idea. So we're going to go from our relay to our first fence post. We then have to connect this fence post to our next fence post. So now you see that this wire is blue. The electricity is traveling in this direction. This is the part where if you walk into it, or the zombies are going to get shocked when they touch this wire once it's active. If you notice, I've got kind of 2 sets of them sitting here. One of them is approximately chest level. The other one, when the wires run, will be at about feet level. So again, like I said, I wire them individually. I'll typically go from there, run it like so. Now, again, as you can see, if these were inside of blocks here, that would be at the feet level. This would be at the upper torso level. And you can do it this way. You can even just do the low wire for, again, like the dart traps. You've got crawlers, dogs, zombies that have had their legs blown off and their bootleg crawlers kind of coming after you. So why did I say that daisy chaining them is not good? So let me left click here and disconnect that. What you can do is I can come here, I can attach this, and that's where it's going to feed power. This will also be energized, so depending on how you have them run, if something were to come in from the side here and hit that, they would be electrocuted. First thing when you're setting these things up to keep in mind is that zombies will damage these. If you just left this laying on the ground here and just had a door there where you wanted them to walk to, if they pile up enough and they start punching things, these will get broken and they will not work. In this example here, this thing is daisy chained. So if you can see the electricity running through there, if a zombie comes through here and breaks that wire, well, guess what? That's not connected anymore. It has no yellow power running to anything. This one's all by its lonesome. That's not working. That's not doing anything. And all your power stops here. So daisy chaining them is a bad idea. Again, you want to run each individual set of 2 as one circuit. So set that back up. And I would recommend paying attention to which direction your electricity is flowing. And the reason for that is because as this thing shocks you, shocks zombies, shocks dogs, whatever it's zapping other players, these posts are going to take damage. But the only thing that you're going to repair is the one that's on the end of the receiving electricity. So where this thing terminates here, this is the one that's going to take damage. So if a whole bunch of zombies are blasting into this thing and I've got my repair tool out and I'm looking at this and I'm like, well, it's not damaged. Why is it not repairing? You got to go to this one over here. So I've kind of got a little demonstration set up here. As you can see, I've got one wire going low, one wire going high. If you notice, I have a gap here so that the zombies cannot reach this. Like I said previously, you want an elevated position. You want to control the flow of the zombies, have them typically come up and then go across here. Again, if these things are on the ground and zombies start swarming your base, they're going to get broken. They're going to be useless. Resources and time that you put into making them is gone. Hopefully you weren't relying on them for your sole defenses here. So again, I've got one set down low. I've got one set up high. I have my generator going to a switch going to a relay, and then the relay individually feeding each one of these setups. Now, I have this little extra thing over here so that I can reach, again, the ones that are on the end here so that I can repair these. So if we go ahead and turn this on, we'll go ahead and turn the wires on. So this is active now, just so you can see if I walk into this thing, I'm going to get shocked. It does damage, it kind of stuns a little bit, the zombies get kind of locked in place. We're going to call in some friends here to help with our demonstration. Again, we've got our low wire, got our high wire. Let's call in a wolf and an Arlie. Let's get their attention. So, well, as you can see, the wolf hit the low one and then went ahead and just continued on his merry way without actually slowing down. However, she's hit them and she's kind of frozen in place. Get out of here, wolf. We can look at her health. She's at 71 out of 119. You can see in the top center there. So it did not do a whole lot of damage to her, and it did not stop her from getting to us. Let's go ahead and turn this off. So as you can see, like I mentioned previously, these things are not standalone devices. I would not rely on these and put these out solely for killing the zombies for you. Perhaps doing something like that, making several sets of them as they're coming towards your entrance here and you're fighting them. This may slow them down, kind of thin them out a little bit. You'll take a little bit less ammunition or punches and therefore using stamina to kill the zombies because they've already lost some of their health coming through the wires. But again, it's not, in my opinion, these are not meant to be standalone devices. I'm sure there's ways that you can wire them up to get them to do that, and somebody may say otherwise, and you can set up a whole AFK base if you got a spaghetti noodle string set up with these things, but I'm not going to do that. I do kind of enjoy fighting a little bit, so I'm probably not going to rely solely on those. So if you watched my dart trap video, you recognize this area over here. I've still got it set up, except I did some modifications to incorporate some electric wires in here to be what I feel like is kind of like a best use case scenarios for these things. So again, we're controlling our flow of traffic. We've got stairs over here that come up. The zombies have to take their time jumping, so that's going to slow them down. I've got a wire down here. I've got all the wires down low, so every zombie that comes through here is going to get hit by this. All the creatures that have to stop to jump up on that block are going to get zapped. As you can see, these ones that are out here are freestanding. There's nothing interfering with them. There are ones on this side. There are blocks here. So as you notice, the wires will connect through blocks, much like your wiring for just hooking up your traps in general and giving things power. It will go through a block. The only problem is you're going to kind of have to pay attention to how you set up your base first, because if this was all built and then I came in here and plopped this down, unless you turn on God mode and can fly through the wall, you're not going to have enough wire length to run down the hallway and connect it to the other side. So you've got to kind of figure out how these things work ahead of time, how you want to set them up, and then build accordingly, and then just kind of incorporate them in. Again, we've got one wire here. The dart traps are going to be firing at the zombies here, which is great. They hit this thing, they stop for about 4 seconds in one spot, just getting shot. And the darts shoot 2 every second. So for every 4 seconds they're sitting here, they're taking quite a few darts. They jump up, they come down, oh, they're stuck again, they're zapped, they're getting shot by darts. They proceed. If they're not dead by now, they kind of get out of the safe area here. They're going to come towards our hatch. I've got another setup here with double wires. That way anything that comes to this, if it's a dog, crawler, bootleg crawler, regular zombie with no legs, or if it's a full-blown standing up zombie punching your hatch, they're going to get hit. Also, again, those pesky zombies that are regular, full size, nothing's wrong with them. They just have the need to get on all fours and punch stuff so you can't reach them while they're beating up your hatch. All the while, this thing is shooting down on them while they are electrocuted, stuck here, and you're on the other side of this shooting them or beating them mercilessly with whatever tools are at your disposal. I have incorporated areas to repair these things because, like I said, you want to pay attention to which way the electricity is flowing. So I've got the electricity going to my relays, going to the posts, and then cutting across this way. I just kind of put some railings in here because you can reach through with your tool if these things are damaged. So put a couple rounds into that. And as you can see, I can reach through here and repair it. I'm relatively safe. There's a lot of open area there. If a cop can see you, he can spit at you. If I'm here repairing these things because they're taking damage from being shocked, and a cop spits from way over there and hits me and these posts, it's going to do more damage. So am I really doing more harm than good? You know, it depends on how much puke you're taking. So you can, because again, the wires go through blocks, you can kind of seal all this off once you get it set up and you're happy with it. Then you don't even have to use railings. You can just have this wide open so you can access the posts. So I did the same thing over here. I've got this little offshoot tunnel. I did put in some ballistic glass here because if this thing is just solid and I have no idea what's going on there other than these things are taking damage and I'm sitting here repairing them, it gets kind of boring. I want to see the action. However, again, keep in mind, if cops can see you, even if it's through glass, they will spit at you. It'll just damage this, but it will not penetrate and get you. So this just kind of gives you a little bit of a safe haven to repair your posts without getting hurt. You can do the same thing on this side and then not even build access to it, just so that somehow they don't get blown up. If there's a cop over here and he explodes, it's possible that he could damage your stuff, depending on where he is or if he's falling off when he blows up or, you know, whatever. So one of the things that I didn't cover is you can pick these up just like the dart traps. However, right now, if I'm hitting E, I cannot interact with this thing at all. But as soon as I plop a land claim block down, if I come over here, it says just press E to pick up. There is no menu. It's not like the timer relays or sensors where it has settings on it. So if I hit E, the only thing that it'll do is just pick the post up, put it in my inventory. That's all you get. There's nothing else. Add power to it, run it to another one, let it go. So I want to go ahead and do another little demonstration. And one thing, like I mentioned already too, I like to, once things get kind of convoluted, you got a whole bunch of wires running everywhere and different circuits hooked up, I like to put some wooden signs and label them on my switches so I know which ones are on. So let's say, you know, I just decide, hey, I'm tired of these darn dart traps stealing my XP. I just want to lock the zombies down with electric wire and then shoot them from my position here so that I'm getting the XP. That's fine. And then I decide, well, you know what? This horde's getting a little too much for me. I'm going to turn the dart traps back on. And you're not scrambling trying to remember what's what or hoping that, you know, it's hooked up still and you just turn them on. So I'm going to turn that on because it doesn't matter. Turn my generator on. Going to leave the darts for just a minute because what I would like. Well, if you're in God mode, it's okay. I'm going to spawn some friends for us to play with. I am going to spawn 25 of them. I'm going to tell them to look at me. And let's just do Arlene again. Let's get inside here. They're coming up. So we're going to go ahead and turn the dart traps on. The one over there on the motion sensor isn't a big deal, but the one here by the door is the one that's going to kind of be wasted because they're not getting over here. So as we can see, they are not liking life right now. They are getting held up. So while that's happening, let's run over here and let's see what kind of damage these fence posts are taking. Oh, somebody made it to the door. Look at that. Oh, she's shocked again. Nope, she didn't make it. Oh, you know what? Oh, it's not even on. There we go. I didn't hook that up to this, because that was for the separate demonstration. So, the other one shouldn't even have made it to the door. Box tape. Oh, doesn't seem like they made it. Alright, let's turn that off so it chills out. And then we can leave our generator on and turn that off again so we can come out to the safety of our base. And so I've got my nail gun out, got my electric parts and forged iron. These things do not seem to have taken any damage at all. That I'm not really sure about. These should have taken damage. They're on the end here, and we zapped 25 zombies with them. So that one I'm a little bit curious about. I did see there was damage to the blocks here. I don't know if the damage was transferring to the block and not the fence post. Maybe that's a little bug discovery that could be beneficial. Let's make sure these over here. Yeah, see these over here didn't even take damage. Oh, that one did just a little bit. So, I mean, hey. Apparently they take a lot less damage than I thought, but let's do something fun since we're here and we're hanging out. Let's see how this goes. They're definitely not happy. Let's turn those on. This should really be hooked up to that switch. I'll mess with that for future endeavors. Let's see. All right, they're getting shocked. Darts are going off. Remember, darts don't set off their buttons. They don't have any kind of ranged attacks, so we could stand here with the door open if we want to. And they're just getting held up. We're really not doing anything. Uh-oh. I don't know what these guys are doing. They're just mad punching stuff. I guess they're in rage mode. And then they'll find their path again and come back up. And they haven't even made it through the first block yet. Sure where those are damaged. Look at that. See, that block's getting hurt, but not the fence post. So, hey, you know what? Keep the electricity flowing as long as we've got gas in the generator. And then again, let's say we're tired of the dart traps stealing all of our XP. We want to switch to our weapon, and we're just going to light them up while they're stuck in the electricity. Probably want to pay attention, aim your shots a little bit, especially with demos. We don't want to shoot those buttons, especially considering those fence posts aren't protected. But let's see what happens if one of them blows up. Oh, he fell. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, he blew up our fence post, see? So now they have uninhibited access to get through. He actually took out both of them. Wow, those things are pretty weak. So we're going to want to turn that back on. Back up a little bit. And we can fight from our position here. And they are basically perma-locked. Uh-oh. They may try and climb in, though, once they're piled up enough. And that goes for any zombie type. What happens if we do that? Uh-oh. This is going to be bad. Pretty much busted a lot of things. Should have no wires. Oh, wow, one of the wires survived. All right. I think that's a pretty good demonstration. This isn't a day 7,000 horde night. Just turn this off. That one's already off. Hey, look, we leveled up. Look at that. Go us. Only took us killing a whole bunch of demos. How are there still guys left? The noises they make are hilarious. So that one demo fell down there and blew up our 2 fence posts that were up here. But the demo blew up here, killed those top fence posts, but we still had the ones on the bottom. So they were outside of that blast radius at least. So just further away you go, better. Which brings to mind a good question. How far can place electric fence posts from each other? Well, we've got our handy dandy measurement tool here. So we can do that. And then if you remember from the wiring tool, you click, back it up. Uh-oh, get to 11. Can't reach anymore. However, remember we could put them 15 away. Gotta click this again. So we can run down here all the way to block number 10. Can reach. Can't reach spot 15. What about 14? Wire turned red. Went too far. Look at that. So we can go 14 spaces. So you could definitely, depending on how big you want to build your horde base, you can run these things up to 14 blocks away, and you could definitely put them behind some protective barriers. So if you've got like a ginormous base, you've got a couple friends that are helping you out, and you've got a big walkway for you're funneling the zombies through, that kind of cuts down maybe into 1 or even 3 different avenues for, you know, you and your friends to hide behind. You can stretch one wire all the way across. Somebody can be on the receiving end, and their job is to repair that side and then jump back to their fighting position. But you could definitely kill some demos here in the middle and keep them out of the blast radius from damaging your hard-earned, hard-built traps. So hopefully I covered everything in this video. Hopefully you found it somewhat useful and educational. Please feel free to like, comment, subscribe, whatever you feel necessary. Please feel free to give me any kind of constructive criticism, anything you think I can do to make my videos better for you. Thank you for watching, and we'll catch you in the next video.